Okay, class, we're going to do set 2 exercises. As I said, we're not going to do all these problems as we did in the prior. There's a lot of things that you've already learned here. There are a lot of tools that you've already have picked up along the way, and you're going to need to use these particular tools to determine what the answers are here. We look at number 4, and we have what are the x and y intercepts of each of the lines in the following graphs. And we have two different graphs. From what I can see, there's an A and B line in the first graph. The second line has C, D, and E. If we look at the A line, we want to determine what the x-intercept is. We would start at 0 and count over 1, 2, 3. That means our x-intercept is 3, 0. It's 3 is the x value. And when we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 would be the y-intercept, so 0, 4 is the coordinate, and so 4 would be the y-intercept. And again, we'd do that for all of these. B, we'd be able to find again the x and y intercepts. C, now when we get to D, we notice that it crosses through the origin, so we know that the 0, 0, or 0 is both the y and x value. And E is a vertical line, which means that it does not cross the y-intercept, so it doesn't have a y-intercept. Okay, let's look at number 5. Find the x and y-intercepts of the lines having the following equations. They're giving us A through H. We simply need to plug in the 0 value for x, determine what y is, and then do the same thing for y, put in 0, and determine what the x value is. And that will give you your x and y intercepts. Now, find the number 6, find the x and y intercepts of the lines having the following equations, similarly to what you've already done here in number 5. Okay, but they do ask, what can you conclude about the graphs of these equations, and can you explain why? That's a challenge there. So you're going to need to analyze these 4 different intercepts, or the lines, the actual graphs. Determine what is it you notice, and that should give you a clue to answer E. Number 7, this exercise is about the equation x plus y divided by 2 is equal to 6. Now, find the x and y intercepts. We've already learned how to do that. Use the intercepts to graph the equation. We've already learned that. Now, we're being asked the question, does the point 2, 8 lie on the line? Okay, and if so, is it a solution to the equation? And again, we're asked 8, 2. So it's similar to the previous lesson where we're given a series of questions for a particular graph. Number 8, graph the following equations by finding their intercepts. So now you're actually going to graph. In the previous, you didn't necessarily have to graph, but you will now start graphing by finding the intercepts. If an equation cannot be graphed using the intercepts, graph it by finding other points on the line. Use a third point on each graph to check your answer. So there's really like 2 parts to this, and there's an if in there, because if particularly there is a situation where we go through the origin and we know that we only have 1 point. It's 0 for both the x and y, so we don't really have another point. We need another point to graph, so we need to extend beyond the x and y intercepts and find that extra point. Okay, but there really is a second part to this, is using a third point. Look at your graph, find a point, and say, let me plug that in to see if it actually is a solution, and if it is, it means that your graph is correct. In 9 and 10, we're told to graph the following equations on one pair of axes. Okay, so again, one pair of axes, and number 9, we have 3 different graphs, and then we're to make an observation. What do you notice about the graph? And we're told to do this again in number 10. If you have any problems, certainly bring your problems, communicate them to me, and I'll certainly help you out.